Hello, my name is Justin Laskin from Pollard Thomas Edwards, and this is a virtual site tour of our project New Garden Quarter in Stratford, part of Future of London's Net Zero Carbon Housing Programme. New Garden Quarter is the fourth zone of the larger Chobham Farm masterplan that we achieved planning permission for back in 2013, which in its entirety delivers more than 1,000 new homes for the area. Zone 4 was designed for our clients Telford Homes and Notting Hill Genesis. It delivers 471 new mixed-tenure apartments and houses, as well as a new neighbourhood nursery, a café, a gym, and flexible commercial space around a series of new spaces and streets. Back in 2014, when we began work on this zone, the site was a vacant car park. It had been a coach park during the Olympics, but it sat empty since then. It was a prime site for redevelopment, given it's only a few minutes' walk from Stratford Station, Westfield, and Stratford High Street. But it had a number of significant technical constraints that also made it a really challenging site. Every single one of its boundaries is bordered with transport and infrastructure constraints. To the east is Leighton Road, which you can see here, quite a busy vehicular and pedestrian route. To the south is the high-speed 1 train line running into Stratford International Station. And to the west, a network rail line running north from Stratford Station to Lee Bridge and the Lee River Valley. The northern boundary is Pennybrook Street, a steeply sloping road that runs from Leighton Road up to the Athletes' Village, but bridges up and over the western train line at the northwest corner of our site. So constraints on every side. Our challenge was to take this somewhat hostile environment and create a new neighbourhood that more than 1,000 people would want to call home. Our solution was to create a series of perimeter courtyard blocks that enclosed an enormous new public garden, a new London square measuring more than 70 metres on each side. One of the things that makes New Garden Quarter unique is the percentage of family homes, more than 45% across all tenures. Now, typically you would expect the family homes to be focused primarily on the affordable accommodation, and the private and shared ownership mostly made up of smaller 1- and 2-bed homes. But here, the 45% 3- and 4-bed homes are across all tenures. The tagline for the planning application was, "A new family neighbourhood," and this aspiration has driven a lot of our decision-making, from how we choose to arrange our typical cores, where we place the gardens and front doors, and even what non-residential amenities would be included. The new neighbourhood has proved to be really popular with residents, and we think this shows that large apartments, when combined with generous public open space and family-oriented amenities like doorstep play and a built-in neighbourhood nursery facility, can create a really great setting for family life, one that can even rival the traditional London preference for a house and garden. So you enter the scheme via a shared surface street that runs between the 2 street-facing courtyard blocks. The right-hand one is comprised of affordable and shared ownership accommodation, and the left-hand is shared ownership and private market rent. But as you can see, they're fully tenure blind, so no discernible difference between the two. We were really keen for the front gardens and front doors to feel private, with a clear separation of public and private space, but also not to feel completely overwhelmed by fencing and gates. We've quite carefully placed planting to act as the barrier between public and private. Where fencing and gates are required, we've tried to always place it behind hedge planting. We've also incorporated a lot of sustainable urban drainage features here, like rain gardens. These slight depressions in the landscape have flood-resistant planting and little channels that direct stormwater into them. When there are heavy rains, they can actually fully fill with water, and then gradually allow the stormwater to run into the ground as it's ready, rather than running straight off into the sewers. Each of these courtyard blocks has some parking at ground floor, and a private resident courtyard garden at first floor that spans across the parking. These are accessible to all residents that live in each block and provide some really nice doorstep play in a safe and contained environment. The ground plane of these gardens are actually blue roofs, so underneath this paving, we're storing stormwater as it comes down, and then gradually dispersing it into the landscape. If we go back down to street level and keep going along the shared surface street, we arrive at the main public space of the development, our new garden square. This is the main public space of the project, and it is intensively landscaped to make sure it has ample opportunity for amenity as well as for enhanced ecological value. There's a really dramatic new feature sculpture in the center, which was designed by the landscape architects, Churchman Thornhill Finch. This also doubles as play equipment, with scramble nets, a climbing wall, and a seriously steep spiral slide running through the middle of it, which I've done a few times myself, and I can confirm it is not for the faint of heart. There's a natural wading pond with marsh planting, a wet woodland, a forested glade, and lots of play equipment for kids, young and old. On the northern face of the square is a new neighbourhood nursery. Now, I realize I've spent a lot of time talking about all of the ways that we've made a sustainable place for people to live, but I haven't yet spoken about the actual headline of this program, carbon reduction. The homes here achieve a 35% reduction in carbon from Part L through the use of the GLA's energy hierarchy: be lean, be clean, and be green. The walls here are thick, around 500 millimeters thick, and the fabric achieves a good U value of between 0.13 and 0.16. This, combined with the thermally efficient windows, reduces the amount of heat loss through the facades, and therefore also reduces the heat demand. The heat is then supplied via an on-site gas-fired combined heat and power plant, which is located on the southeast corner of the site, adjacent to Leighton Road. This supplies power and hot water to all of the facilities on site. All of the roofs are a combination of green and brown and are covered with photovoltaic panels. So in conclusion, we think New Garden Quarter is sustainable city making in the truest sense. It creates a new mixed-use community on brownfield land and with excellent public transport links. It has a sub-strategy that incorporates rain gardens and green and blue roofs, and extensive new planting and green infrastructure that ensures a significantly enhanced local ecology. In addition to achieving significant carbon reductions, it also provides a new family-focused neighbourhood of mixed-tenure apartments arranged around a major new London square. And its popularity with both its own residents, as well as the residents of neighbouring areas, has turned it into a real destination for families, of all shapes and sizes.
So my name is Arno. I moved here in October last year. I think it's an amazing place to live in because I came and visit here in July. And even before I knew that I could get a mortgage on it, I just say, yeah, I'm going to pay the deposit and take it. And then I went to the bank because I fell in love with the place. So you got space, you've got green, you've got light coming from everywhere. So I really like it. It's a good place to live.
So favorite thing about the development is definitely this park. Again, as you can understand, our children are very important to us, and so and even for me, where I grew up in Jamaica, you know, my house was on a massive bit of land, and I could run and play in the forest, you know, for forever. And so I never thought I'd find that here. So to have right outside our door, like in big city London, some semblance of that, you know, I'm so happy for them. So, and I just also remember how big my home was to me, and so I'm just thinking just the size of it is perfect for them. Like, again, not to be too far, they're pretty close, they're pretty nearby, and the different elements, there's water, there's, you know, this amazing slide that's really fun for everybody. The sand pits, yeah, it's all you could have kind of wanted and what you didn't quite expect to get, I think, in London. So my favorite thing about the flat would be, for us again, and for our family, my husband is 6'6", and my family is also tall, and so just entering into the house and having our duplex it's just really tall. Again, you just we didn't expect that. We were shocked when we entered in and we said we had to have this place. So really high ceilings, glass floor to ceiling everywhere. We're both from sunny countries. I'm from Jamaica, my husband's from Spain, so it was so important to be able to get sun, to get lots of light. And so that's, having the huge windows is really great. So maybe that's it, actually. The favorite part about the flat would be the huge windows. The floor-to-ceiling windows and literally walls of windows was really important to us and really great. And yeah, every time I look out the window, every time I hang out in the children's room, like it's, yeah, I just love all the sun we're getting.